Have you ever noticed how some people avoid crowded places whenever possible? They skip loud parties, they leave malls early, they prefer quiet cafes over packed restaurants, and sometimes they disappear completely just to recharge. Most people think these individuals are shy, antisocial, or awkward, but psychology says something very different. In fact, people who naturally avoid crowds often possess rare psychological traits that most people never develop. Traits linked to deep thinking, high awareness, emotional intelligence, and powerful self-control. So, if you've ever felt uncomfortable in noisy social environments, this video might explain something important about who you really are. Because avoiding crowds doesn't always mean weakness. Sometimes it means your mind works on a completely different level. And by the end of this video, you may start seeing yourself very differently. Part 1. Your brain processes more than most people. Psychologists discovered that some people have a nervous system that reacts more intensely to external stimulation, noise, movement, conversations, lights, energy. While others can easily ignore these things, your brain absorbs everything at once. This is often connected to high sensitivity and deeper cognitive processing. In simple words, your brain doesn't just notice the environment, it analyzes it. When you enter a crowded place, your mind is unconsciously reading facial expressions, tone changes, body language, social tension, random movements, background noise, and emotional energy. Most people filter these things out automatically. You don't. Which is why crowds feel mentally exhausting, not because you're weak, but because your brain is processing more information per second than most people around you. And interestingly, many highly intelligent and creative individuals throughout history preferred solitude over crowds, because silence gives deep thinkers something crowds never can: mental clarity. Part 2. People who avoid crowds are often highly self-aware. Crowds force people to perform, to fit in, to act excited, to constantly react. But self-aware people become uncomfortable when interactions feel fake or forced. They value authenticity more than social approval, and that's rare. Most people fear being alone because silence forces them to confront themselves. But psychologically mature people are different. They can sit alone without feeling empty. That means their happiness isn't completely dependent on external validation, and this creates a powerful trait: emotional independence. When you stop needing constant noise, attention, and social stimulation, you gain control over your own emotions. You stop chasing approval, you stop pretending, you stop draining yourself trying to impress people who barely notice you. And suddenly, peace becomes more attractive than popularity. Part 3. Your energy is limited, so you protect it. One major psychological difference between crowd lovers and crowd avoiders is energy management. Some people gain energy from social interaction, others lose energy from it. Psychologists often connect this with introversion, but it's deeper than simply being quiet. People who avoid crowds are usually highly selective about where their mental energy goes. They don't want shallow conversations, forced laughter, or meaningless social competition. They crave depth, real conversations, real connections, real understanding. And because of this, they become careful about who they allow into their emotional space. Think about it. A crowded environment often demands constant attention, smiling, responding, reacting, adapting. For emotionally sensitive people, this becomes exhausting very quickly. So instead of wasting energy everywhere, they protect it. And people who learn to protect their energy usually become calmer, wiser, and emotionally stronger over time. Part 4. You notice things other people miss. Have you ever entered a room and instantly sensed tension, even when nobody said anything? That's psychological awareness. People who avoid crowds are often extremely observant. They pick up micro-expressions, hidden emotions, fake behavior, social manipulation. And because they notice so much, crowded environments can feel emotionally overwhelming. Most people are distracted by entertainment and stimulation, but observant minds constantly scan for meaning. This is why some crowd avoiders become excellent writers, artists, psychologists, strategists, and creators, because they spend more time observing human behavior than participating in it. And observation builds understanding. Sometimes the quietest person in the room understands everyone better than the loudest one. Part 5. Modern society rewards noise, but depth is rare. Today's world glorifies constant activity. Post more, talk more, go out more, be visible all the time. Silence almost looks suspicious now, but psychology tells us something important. Constant stimulation can disconnect people from themselves. When your life is always filled with noise, you rarely stop to think deeply. That's why people who enjoy solitude often develop stronger inner worlds. They reflect more, analyze more, understand themselves more. And while others are addicted to distraction, you may be developing self-awareness. That makes you rare, because truly understanding yourself is one of the hardest psychological achievements in life. Part 6. Avoiding crowds does not mean you dislike humanity. This is important. Avoiding crowds doesn't mean you dislike humanity. In fact, many crowd avoiders care deeply about people. They simply prefer meaningful interaction over superficial interaction. Instead of 100 shallow friendships, they want 2 real connections. Instead of loud environments, they prefer calm conversations. And psychologically, this often leads to stronger emotional bonds, because depth creates trust. Some of the most loyal, empathetic, and emotionally intelligent people are those who spend more time alone. Why? Because solitude teaches reflection, and reflection teaches understanding. Part 7. The dark side of being different. But there is also a painful side to this personality. Sometimes you feel misunderstood. People may call you boring, distant, cold, or antisocial, not because they truly understand you, but because they interpret quietness through their own perspective. Society often assumes loud confidence equals happiness, but that's not always true. Some people hide insecurity behind constant social activity, and some quiet people possess incredible inner strength. The problem is the world notices noise first, not depth. And because of this, people who avoid crowds sometimes begin doubting themselves. They wonder, why am I different? Why can't I enjoy what everyone else enjoys? But being different is not automatically a flaw. Sometimes difference is intelligence protecting itself from unnecessary chaos. Part 8. Why this makes you rare. Here's the truth most people never realize. The ability to enjoy your own company is a psychological superpower. If you can sit alone without feeling lonely, think deeply without distraction, and walk away from environments that drain your peace, you possess something extremely rare in modern society: inner stability. Because most people depend on constant stimulation to escape their thoughts. But people comfortable with solitude often develop stronger confidence, better emotional awareness, higher creativity, and stronger intuition. They learn who they truly are, and once someone truly understands themselves, they become difficult to manipulate. So if you've always avoided crowds, don't rush to believe something is wrong with you. Maybe your mind simply craves depth over noise. Maybe you were never designed to follow the crowd. And maybe the very thing that made you feel different is actually the thing that makes you rare. Because in a world obsessed with attention, peace is powerful. And people who protect their peace often understand life more deeply than everyone else. If this video connected with you, comment, "I value peace." And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this today.